All right, everybody, please welcome. Yes!
Hello. So many familiar faces from a couple of months ago when we did a convention. So it's fantastic to be here and see you all.
I hear you're kind of new to the convention scene. I think your most recent one was like about a month ago, right?
Yeah, 2 months ago. It was a smaller convention. It was focused on anime. And it was but it was amazing to see so many people turn out for some of my other work. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
How's
cool.
the vibe feel for you? Like it's a completely different.
This is a
kind of
big
work.
one. Like compared to the other one, this is like a large floor, and not just anime focused. It seems that it's film, television, comics, games, the whole animation, the whole gambit. So
Yeah. Indiana does not pull punches when it comes to trying to make the
There you go.
fandoms feel open and variety. I love it. We've already got questions lined up for you,
Yeah.
so I figured we could just start tackling some of those. What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Hannah, and my question is, out of the main Modern Warfare cast, who's someone that you wish you could spend that you had more scenes and more time with in the games?
Hello, Hannah. I mean, it goes without saying I had so much fun with Sam when we got to record our scenes. You know, particularly because for the some of the missions, you know, they were voice only, but we got to be there together at the same time to record that. And sometimes that works out, and sometimes the schedules don't work out. In our case, it did. So yeah, Sam and I got to spend a good amount of time together. Yeah, you know who actually I got to do a good amount with Barry and Elliot, but yeah, I would say Barry and Elliot. Honestly, we didn't share a whole ton of scenes. So yeah, probably Barry and Elliot for sure. Yeah, I would like to have done some more scenes with them.
Thank you. Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
I'm Scarlett. My question is, what of your works that you've done, like animation, voice acting for video games, or just acting in general, do you think has had the most impact in people like us?
I don't know that I would know the answer to that. I mean, I do think that obviously Soap, definitely seems to have been the most impactful on a few levels, and that's something which is. To get to be in something that people see and enjoy and is meaningful to them, and I think particularly where with Soap, you were for a good part, you're playing as him. You're in the first person with him. So I think that probably naturally it lends itself towards having the most connection, with the audience member for sure. I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
My name is
This is
Jenna.
rapid fire.
They've got them ready for you. They've been waiting.
Okay.
My name is Jenna, and I was just wondering, what is your dream role? But not you don't have to say a specific character or anything. This could be the broadest answer you've ever given. But what's something that you really want to play?
I really love comedy, and I love action adventure. So yeah, something in that realm would be really fun. We had our moments with the game, and with one or two of the other things that I've done that add some levity to it. But I love comedy. I love physical comedy. Huge fan of obviously Jim Carrey and those types of movies. So yeah, something along those realms. I think. I mean, when I do comedy as well, I tend to be quite broad. And so somewhere that I could, a role like that's where I could have a little bit of bandwidth to play, I think, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Out of Jim Carrey's movies, which one speaks to you the most, do you think?
Well, The Mask is just incredible, I mean, and to be able to go through the hours of makeup and also The Grinch, those two for sure, incredible.
Yes Man or Bruce Almighty? Do those fall into your categories at all?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's certainly in terms of the sort of central concept to the films and in terms of the writing. I'm just in awe of anyone who can sit through hours of makeup and day on day and just give a performance like that.
No, absolutely.
That's-
When you're thinking comedy, are you thinking writing too, or are you thinking just more performing?
I've written, one or two of my own sketches, and and put those up, and that was really fun to do. I'm not working on anything right now in terms of anything longer form, but yeah, I mean potentially. I tend to be an actor. I like to serve the writing, so that's kind of what I'm focused on right now.
Oh, I love that. How about the difference between then being directed versus kind of writing? Do you see like a pretty big difference there for yourself, like in terms of like freedom?
Between writing and directing in terms of...
And no, I mean, I guess being directed, like when you're in the booth yourself, do you find that you like to have a little bit more control of what you're writing, or do you like a little bit more of the direction?
Oh, I love to be directed. I think all actors do. I think you prepare as hard as you can. You try to make choices in advance. Maybe you're making choices, along a range that are suitable for the genre and the given circumstances. And then when you get into the booth to get some feedback, and to have some help from someone on the outside to try and shape a performance, that's one of the parts of the process that I really enjoy.
Would you say that's a pretty big key component when it comes to voice acting, that it is, don't just take it all on your own, like definitely take some direction?
Yeah, I mean, part of being a voice actor is being able to, or being an actor in general, is being able to take direction. There are some famous examples where some direction can be given that is more result oriented. That's what they call it. Where a director may be less interested in getting you to that place than just saying, look, I really need you to do this. Whether it's, I need you to be more confused, as opposed to saying, well, maybe, you're thinking about this, but, your mind is elsewhere. A director may just say, I just need you to look more confused. And then it's up to the actor, or sound more confused, and then it's up to the actor to get there. Or I need you, with the way that this blocking is working out, I need you to end up, over there by the chair. Can you figure that out? And as an actor, you've just got to be able to figure it out on your own. Sometimes.
I absolutely love that. Let's get on to the next question as well. Hello, and what is your name and your question?
Hi, I'm Alex.
Hey.
Question that I have is, for the marketing videos with Santa soap and bathtub soap, what prompted those?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, no. Those were so much fun to do. A very talented person came up with those ideas and thought that they would be fun to do, and thought it would be fun for the fandom as well. And they were right. So, and I'm glad that you guys got to have a lot of fun with it. They were both fun to shoot. The bathtub one was a bit more of a challenge in terms of all the bubbles and the temperature of the water. I'm very grateful to have gotten to do those, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy them.
Thank you.
I can almost picture it myself. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing it, but I know what I'm going to do right after this. I'm going to go right to YouTube.
Please do.
Hello, what is your name and what is your question?
My name is Jocelyn. So this is kind of like a two-parter, but were you the one who voiced the 2019 soap? Just because it's like a follow-up question.
The 2019 soap.
Yeah.
Now, would that be in Warzone or in the campaign?
The multiplayer, how we get an operator with him, and he's like in a snow outfit.
I think so. Yeah, I think that I was brought on maybe at the end of that year, and one of the first things to do was the battle chatter and was the Warzone. Yeah.
Right. So when you did those scenes towards the end, Soap sounds a little different. His voice is a little lighter. What made you kind of change his voice towards MW2 and 3 and just give him that more raspiness and just his overall edge?
Yeah, I think that I was new to it, and I think that when you start off with battle chatter, it tends to, they want it to sound like you're really in the field, and so I was kind of coming from that place, and there was less story to it and less relationship to it. And then what I discovered with the campaign was that, there was a lot, versus Warzone, there's obviously way more, there's more story to it, and that would have to come across. And I think that then I started to think more during that period of time about the character, and I'd started to see scripts, and I started to develop the character more in my mind, more towards being the kind of the new recruit to that team, and the relationship that he would have with particularly with Ghost. And so that's probably led me into that direction of developing the character that way.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
My name is Braden. Hey, Neil. I was curious. So you have done a lot of militarized roles. You got Halo, 100D90, but you mentioned comedy a lot, and enjoying comedy. Is there a particular archetype of character that you would most like to sort of act in? Is it, we get Soap, who's like military, but he's got the quirky side to him. Is that like an ideal kind of role for you, or are you looking for more of like genuine comedy? Maybe, is it just happenstance that it's military?
I think in those cases it was just happenstance that those were military. It may have just been that my look at the time just fitted those roles, and that's what helped me kind of get in the door. And then you're lucky to be able to develop a character over time with a writer, with a director. And some of the best advice I got was particularly for characters that you're rebooting, is to bring as much of yourself as you can to it, and which is what I did, and for that one. So yeah, I mean, as an actor, I don't think about it in terms of any particular role. More just hoping to have the opportunity to bring myself to roles, and for that to be a good combination. If that makes sense, and if it happens to be that it's not a soldier, that it's a teacher or another type of role, but has you're able to lean into maybe the more kind of quirky elements of your personality. That's how I'd like to work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Tyler.
Hey, Tyler.
My question was, when you were filming like promotion stuff for it with the other actors, like Ghost and Price and your character, what was your favorite part of like filming in person with the other voice actors?
Well, first of all, it was great just to get the opportunity to do it. And then when you heard what the plan was, which was to also get to work with Craig Gillespie, who's a feature film director. And not only that, but we were going to be shooting on a runway in an armored vehicle with an entire runway filled with mortars and squibs that were going to blow up. And there are only so many times that they can do that.
Yeah.
And the way the camera was positioned, you start to feel it starts to become a bit more like sports at that point. You're like, okay, we've actually got to do this. So getting to sit in the back of that vehicle with the cast that you've been working on the game for as well was a really special moment. And especially for Elaine, who plays Alejandro, to get the spotlight there at the end. And then when that field blew up, it was you could kind of feel the heat of the flame. It was real. So sometimes things like that are a bit of a once in a lifetime experience. So I think we all were very grateful to get to do that with each other.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It must have been something to not just voice the character, but then get a chance to actually embody the character, like fully step into the literal shoes of the character and go, I'm really him now.
Yeah, really cool, and as I say again, get to do it, in that kind of cinematic feature film setting. Very cool, it's maybe at that time was kind of a rarity too. So yeah, it was a very special moment.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of kind of the older promos they did for like Far Cry 3, and even some with like Giancarlo Esposito for Far Cry 6, where he got to actually step into the role of the character that his face had mocapped. And I absolutely love it where it's not just a voice anymore. It's a character that we can see and recognize by face as well.
Well, this is it with you know, the one of the great things is performance capture these days. You know, I mean, it's when you go in for a performance capture role, it involves several stages. One of the first stages, if they're using your likeness, is to scan your likeness into this giant machine made of 100 Canon 1Ds, and then. Once you're, they have your likeness, they start to build the model, then when you start to see some of the cinematics that have been created, because they'll show them to you, you might be working on one scene, but maybe before you start shooting that, they'll say, "Hey, come over to the screens and see what we're working on from a month ago." And they'll show you the work in progress, and then wow, you see, it's really cinematic. It's incredible. So that spurs you on to be even more nuanced in what you're doing for that day.
No, it's great that you also have like an actual field, with in-person camera work before, so it almost felt a little more natural for you to kind of step into that kind of role too. It wasn't just the voice that you had practice with, it was already being on screen.
Well, I think that actually came towards the end of the process. That was after most of it was in the can.
I mean, like your earlier career. Like been on film, so you're just like, let's do this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Listen, that stuff, performance capture is just like live action theater. You're shooting one-ers. They're doing long takes. When you shoot film or TV, they will do what's called coverage. So they split the scene up into over the shoulders and wides and so on and so forth. But for a lot of performance capture, you're doing long 6-page scenes as a oneer. So everyone's acting for 5 minutes. So it really feels like theater, which I think a lot of actors enjoy.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I want to get to this line because it keeps building over here. Hello.
Oh,
what's your name and what's your question?
Finn.
Finn. Do you have any scenes that you found difficult or like challenging to film?
There were some scenes that that are for performance capture. Because of the length of the scenes that you're filming, some of them are hard because there's a lot of choreography involved and props. And on top of that, you're in a Velcro suit with, the ping pong balls. And if more than likely you're wearing a helmet camera as well. So there's a lot of stuff, as well as not just the actors are in the performance capture suits, but the props are as well. So when you see a gun being carried, that's a real rubber gun, and it's also in its own little lycra suit with the balls on it. So you're in a lot of stuff in a confined space. I think the scenes that are particularly challenging are the ones that are in vehicles. There were, when you do a boat, they will build a rig out of sort of rostrum. And then they have large rubber tires that they blow up. And so it's a square, it would be like one of these squares here, or larger. And then they have rubber tires underneath. So you stand on it, and then someone who's not in a mocap suit that isn't being captured stands behind it and, does the boat. It's just the way it goes. It's a little bit like, the superhero's cape, someone's holding on to it with the wind, for the wind. That's actually quite immersive because you're like, I'm on a boat. I'm feeling like I'm on a boat. Like we're all acting like we're on a boat. This is great. But when you're in a car, they don't do that. So you have to do that a little bit. And you can't do it too much. You can't be the one that's like, it's not as bumpy as the person next to you, right? So you all have to match. And then when you speed up, everyone has to kind of do that. But again, you can't be too much. And then slow down, there's a bit of that. So you're trying to remember to do all of that. Because the scripts will be written, these lines are said just as they slow down and they look to the left, and everyone slows, everyone has to kind of slow down a bit and look to the left. So it's a lot to get in there, as well as the performance on top, So it's a lot of layers, but you tend to do a lot of rehearsal when you get to the studio, and then do as many takes as it takes.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Hello.
Hi, so I'm Chloe, and you said you like the comedy and stuff, and the Alone mission is what got me back into Call of Duty. My first game was Ghosts, and I did not play any after that, and so seeing clips of the Alone mission are what got me back into Call of Duty. And I was wondering what your favorite joke was, and if there were any you would want to add on.
I thought those jokes were, and Sam's delivery, he's so dry. He's got such a dry humor. But there's just, and we were there together. So I think I was saying to some people had asked about it earlier on today, the way that was recorded was I think we had done some performance capture in the morning, and then some time was left in the afternoon for some audio for that mission. So they clear out the room of any inflatable boats, and then they line it up with these large, kind of like these, but they're very thick. And they're sound barriers. And then you and the other actor are mic'd up on radio mics, so you're completely free to move around. And so it was Sam and I there on our own. And I could kind of tell that what the goal here was to take a stealth style and maybe one that was going to be quite difficult to get through. And give it this layer of relationship between the two vis-a-vis these, little army humor, via these dad jokes, basically. But the challenge is that when you're stood next to each other, recording next to each other, you cannot laugh, because if I start to laugh over their line, it ruins their line. It's different if you're in different booths or on different days. They figure it out. But I think Sam realized this, and so he would just take these really long pauses and then make eye contact. I was really hard, but it's probably the dog one. I mean, and I knew it would be coming up because it was on the screen, and we'd get through it, and it's like strawberry jam, whatever it was. What's because we started to do this kind of very dark, but, connected kind of thing. And it got into this rhythm. And he would just kind of look over. And he wouldn't say his line. He would wait. And it was, what was he? It was, what's got two legs and bleeds? So that was my favorite one. What's got two legs and bleeds? I think he says, I don't want to know. I don't want to know, please. And then he says, half a dog. But his delivery is brilliant, and it was a lot. That day was a lot of fun. So it's probably that one. It's a bit dark, but it's so in keeping with it's. And some of those jokes are kind of revealing about what's really going on with with Ghost, his personality. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. My name's Michael.
What's up, Michael?
My question was, out of any of the characters you have ever played, what would be, if you could change one thing about them, what would it be?
Do you mean in terms of the character, or maybe like my preparation
Anything
for it?
at all.
Anything at
Absolutely
all?
anything.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Maybe something you want to expand on, maybe a character or something you want to spend more time with.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. It's actually, to be honest with you, not to kind of completely avoid the question. It's an interesting thing, because it's a little bit like sports in a way, I suppose, that you play the game and then you leave it out there on the field, and it then, if certainly for theater's different, right? In theater, you're a bit more in control of your performance. Okay? So for 2 hours you're on stage, you're sensing the energy from the audience and so forth. And the performance is the performance you're giving real time, right? I think for film and television and other media, there's a number of takes. There's editors and the directors and the producers are choosing those takes, and so trying to kind of second guess your performance in those arenas, it sometimes isn't really that helpful because you've got to just give the best you can for the take, I would say. Yeah, that's kind of how I would answer that question. Is that,
I guess I would also say, like, in the same vein, do you think that there's a line that you recorded that you like looked at the guy in the booth and went, yeah, that's it. We got it. I'm feeling this.
Ka freaking boom. Yeah, there are moments like that for sure, and like you say, like if you like being directed, there's moments like that for sure. Nothing particularly comes to mind right now, I would say.
For sure. Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you, Michael.
Hello.
My name is Cynthia, and I wanted to ask, since on the topic of comedy, what is your all-time favorite dad joke?
Oh, I like the one that's I think it's like, where would you find a no-legged turtle, I think. Where you left it.
I don't know. Where would you find one?
Where you left it. Yeah.
I can feel that right here.
Oh.
If you like a dad joke that my own father told me.
Please.
What do you call a cow that's in a yard spying on you?
I don't know. What do you call a cow in a yard that's spying on you?
A stakeout.
Oh, you got you got like a little golf clap there, actually. Very good.
Fun fact, that was my father specifically told me that and then hung up. So, but thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hi, my name is Tess. Of course, my question follows the jokes because it's a little bit getting into the. So I did not make it to Animate Rally, but I did see a bunch of your questions and answers from your panel you did then.
Sure.
And I remember you talking about beginning production of Modern Warfare 3 instead of Modern Warfare 2, and that it was mentioned to the team that, okay, some people are not going to be making it to the end credits. How much did you know about the characters and the story that you guys were rebooting? How much do you know about the original games way back when and the fates that some of these characters meet? Did you have any idea that Soap might be, forgive the wording, in the crosshairs a little bit? Did you have any idea who might be under the gun, or was it just a surprise?
Well, as far as being familiar with the originals, yeah, absolutely. I was familiar with that, and I knew obviously that these are war games. That no one's safe. I think the way that those projects are made is over time, right? So there's a lot of developing and writing that goes on over a period of time. So you might not, some of the storylines, might be being created as you go, or revealed to you as you go. I am but a pawn among kings. I sort of serve the whatever writing is handed my way. So yeah, I think also as well for maybe more high profile projects, there's a lot of confidentiality involved. Sometimes there's decisions that are being made that are way above your pay grade and about what the story is going to be, in terms of in terms of they may have planned to do certain levels or missions, and those are on the back burner now, but we may come back to those. You tend just to get this, we're doing this in 2 weeks. This is what we're doing, and you kind of go with the go with the flow, basically. So yeah, and that's been how it is, and I I kind of like it in that sense. It's nice to be able to really kind of plan out as much as you can, but it's also nice to be able just to go with the flow. And there's certain days when you turn up, and it's for any gig, by the way, and it's like, that's not what we're going to do today. We're going to do, we're going to do a different scene, and an actor's schedule changed. They're here. Let's get this with them. It's not performance capture. It's going to be in the booth right now. Then they've got to run, and that type of thing. So. Yeah, it's some of the stuff you're aware in advance, some of the stuff you're not, and you got to roll with it.
Well, for sure. Yeah, not specifically. I guess I just wondered because, we have some characters who have taken 2 for the team in 20 years and some people who have made it out of every single game unscathed. So that was just my question. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you. I guess kind of to piggyback off that, where things kind of just change, I'm curious if you can recall how you felt seeing, and obviously for those of you who've played the game, Commander Shepard sends his regards, watching Graves go from blue to red. I cannot tell you how I thought it was absolute peak cinema. I saw the colors go, and I'm turning to my family and looking at my friends. I'm like, look, he's a bad guy now. How did that feel for you?
Well, we were doing the performance capture for that. That's just a layer that I guess that went on top. In the post-production process, we certainly all felt it.
Like the colored balls that you guys weren't just red all of a sudden. You were
yeah.
Oh,
no. no. Yeah, that would have been really strange. What on earth is going on? No, but you could sense the energy change, And of course, Warren is so fantastic. Elaine was so brilliant in that. In that scene and in that project, yeah.
Outside of Call of Duty, is there another moment in maybe cinema or TV that hit you maybe just as hard, or you were just oh my gosh, the tables just turned? That really resonated with you.
Like a twist?
Yeah. To be a part of such a big twist yourself, I'm curious what twist affected you outside of your control.
Well, I think he always knew that Graves was up to no good. I don't think it was a surprise.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I don't know that it was really that much of a twist. I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of movies that have crazy twists, right? It's hard. I'm struggling to think of one off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
I'm curious, though. Eventually, you'll come up with.
I will. I think. When was I Oh, I know. Well, I mean, listen, Game of Thrones. I'm not going to spoil what happened, but there was a certain wedding where I couldn't believe it.
Where all of a sudden you see the text turn red too, and you're just like,
yeah,
oh, no.
Yeah. That actually, yes. I remember thinking, what? Because you weren't. I was not expecting that. Yeah. So that's a good example. That's the best example.
That. If I could get my next question here.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Kiwi.
Hey.
I was, well, first of all, this is Comic-Con. It's freaking exhausting. So you've been so special and so genuine with us. I want to thank you for that.
I'm so grateful to be here. Seriously.
But I wondered how are you doing? How's Comic-Con going for you?
It's great. I mean, it's what's interesting about this one is that the floor is so much, just bigger than the one I was in before, just in terms of size. And there's, like I say, it's less focused on anime. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's just amazing seeing so many people that film, TV, comics, games, the whole thing have brought entertainment and joy to people, and here we are all celebrating it together, and there's just a really good vibe, So yeah, that's really, really nice. And then people have been so kind, and people bring up their artwork, and that for me in particular, that's just an amazing thing. And like I say, to see people that met each other last time get together again here, and now apparently there's a rave tonight.
What?
Who's going to the rave? That's amazing, That's awesome. So it's kind of inspired by watching this show or playing this thing, and then, getting together as a community online, and now it's in person, and then people seem to really be there for each other. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm having a great time.
I'm good too. Thanks for asking. Hello.
Hi, yeah, me again. So you're pretty involved in fandom spaces, especially like compared to other actors. And I was wondering what some of your favorite theories are regarding Call of Duty. Like there's the one going around for a while that Soap didn't die because of that one skin, and everyone's like, look, it's on the wall, he's alive. Like their red strings and stuff. And I was wondering like what your favorite theory was.
I don't know that I have a favorite theory. Let me think. It was certainly a surprise that Graves wasn't in that tank. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have a kind of a favorite. I think like as an actor, right? I'm there to like give the best performance that I can, like on the day, and focus focus on my performance and try not to maybe guess too much, because then it's like my character's guessing. I like to maybe be in the dark a little bit more. But I'm sure there are a lot of theories out there, we'll see which ones come true.
Also, kind of piggybacking off that, like any
Please.
memes in the fandom.
Say
like,
again?
Any memes in the fandom, like the FOP.
Well, that's exactly what you got me. Yeah, I just think that's so. For some reason, that's why some memes are great, aren't they? Because you're just like, I don't know why that's so funny, but it is. Because if you look at the mask, you're like, oh, that's completely how you would pronounce it. That's absolutely one of my favorites.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe we have time for one more question.
Hi, I'm Stacy.
Hey.
You were talking earlier about like what you're wearing and like behind the scenes stuff for like Call of Duty. I've also seen a lot of the behind the scenes shots. So I was wondering, what's one scene that it took forever to shoot because everyone just couldn't stop laughing?
Aside from the dad jokes. Yes. Just trying to think. It's always those moments. I don't know I have a specific example, but it's always those moments where, you guys will get this, right? Where you know that you have to be serious. And then every time you try and do this really serious thing, Billy's rifle pokes off Jenny's hat and falls on the ground. And so she's like trying to be serious and picking up the hat, but kind of pretending that it didn't happen. It's that kind of thing. It's like there's so many elements to it that start to go wrong, and it's particularly where it's this sort of life or death serious. You just like, I know I have to be serious right now, but I can't. It's that those are the types of scenes. I don't have a particular example in mind, but there were a few where it was like. You had to remember that you're putting the prop down to open the door to do the thing, to pick up the thing. And then you're like, no, I've got it. I've got it. Put the prop down to open the door to pick up the thing to do the thing. It's that simple. It's just 4 things. But then they're like, action. And you're like, okay, it's rain. No, hold on. No, I'm here. Definitely. So it's the door. The door was first. I'm pretty sure the door was first. They're like, no, pick up the thing. Oh, you're like, ah. Oh. So it could be a little bit like that, it's and then everyone's just like trying to hold it together. But for so I don't know where it gets tucked away somewhere. Usually when someone's like, it's 4:00. This is your time, not mine. You're like, okay, get it together. So, but that's what makes it fun,
I was also thinking about those times where you have to like do the idle stances, like in between.
Yeah.
Those shots, those always make me laugh.
Yeah, those can be those. That's when for performance capture. That's where the is maybe moving from the first person into the third, and they need the other cast members there. But because the cast members, there needs to be some optionality about what the cast, those other teammates will be doing, those actors have to go into what's called an idle. And you can just stand there. You don't have to like NPC, you don't have to do that. But if you want to make someone laugh, you absolutely can do the, running into a wall thing. But like they'll say, they'll be like, it's 4 o'clock, get on with it. So anyway, thank you for the questions.
Well, Neil, thank you so much for spending
Thank
this
you,
time with us.
everybody.
Indiana Comic-Con, let's give it up for Neil. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. You'll be with us all weekend up until Sunday.
Absolutely.
Right on Celeb Robe, taking celebrity photo ops. You're going to be doing autographs. You're going to be taking selfies at the table. Come on by. If you guys had more questions, you'll be there all weekend.
Absolutely. I'd love to see you guys.
Let's give them a hand one more time, folks. Thank you so much.